Scott Narver, are you excited for Beetlejuice coming out?
Jake Lloyd Bacon, I certainly am. And you know, I had an idea for the show. I was thinking, what if we recast the original movie Beetlejuice with wrestlers?
A wrestler casting call, original Beetlejuice?
That's right.
Using something topical and attaching it to wrestling sure sounds like a cheap way to try to get new listeners to tune into the podcast.
It sure is.
Wrestling casting call Beetlejuice for some reason today on Pro Wrestling Palskis. Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
It's a big week for me here because this week, if all goes as planned, I'll be moving back to LA. It's moving week.
Moving week?
Yeah, we're moving
I thought
in.
It was movie week.
Oh, well, it kind of is. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to do a bit here. I'm trying to tie all this shit together.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be moving in to a whole new place. And Alexandra and I are wondering if maybe there's some ghosts there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Keep it topical. Oh, in fact, actually, sidebar, unrelated. In one of the apartments in the buildings that we applied to, we looked at some of their other listings, and one of them did say, like, oh, we legally have to let you know that somebody passed away of a cardiac arrest here within 5 years. And I was like, oh, shit, is that legal? Do they need to let you know when people die?
Yeah. See, you don't watch horror movies. You don't know this. That's like a third act reveal.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, they gotta tell you that stuff. They gotta tell you if there's a crime there, people have died there, because that changes whether or not people want to get it. I say the more dead, the better.
Speaking of people potentially dying, again, this is completely unrelated to the topic and what we're doing today, but I'm sure it's fine. Alexandra and I found out from one of our old neighbors at the last place we were living at in LA before we left, that a high-speed chase ended when a driver drove into the building and it caught on fire.
Okay.
Like just a couple months back. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And we looked it up and we like, yeah, there's like the news stories and stuff. So thank God we don't live there no more.
Well,
we might have been on fire.
Discount on rent.
Yeah, probably. Somebody would have.
Just a discount, though. No, nothing serious.
Well, in any case, we are thrilled because Beetlejuice is coming out. And we are nothing if not corporate synergy machines, just trying to get a piece of the pie. So we thought, hey, why don't we connect our wrestling podcast to something that has nothing to do with it? And maybe, what is it, Warner who makes this? I don't know. Maybe they'll want to sponsor us. Yeah, Warner will be like, hey, you know what? We should pay those Palski guys. Because listen, I'm moving.
Or cast us.
At this point, I could really use the money. Is it a high-paying job or is it like a day player with shitty residuals?
Yes.
Great. Listen, we need to refurnish an entire home. We listen. We could really use the money. I think
not your own.
I know that I'd love
right. Somebody else's.
Yeah. That building that caught on fire that we used to live in. For some reason, we're buying all of them furniture. I don't know why we agreed to it. But yeah, we've done this a couple times. We did this just a couple months ago with X-Men. We've done it with Marvel Cinematic Universe. But listen, Beetlejuice is right up there, and it's now a cinematic universe. So why the hell not?
Yeah, it's topical. People are going back and watching the old Beetlejuice. People are now excited, and by the time this comes out, they're already watching the new Beetlejuice.
Oh my God, you just said it twice. Don't say it a third time. Because you want to know who might appear? Our current PWP champ, Mike Lucas, a.k.a. Hackensack, the champ for PWP for the month of September. If you'd like to challenge him for that title, you got to become a championship level Palski over on patreon.com/PW Palskis. We are once again not live for our Palskis this week because of the aforementioned movingness. But we should be back. Our next episode, we should be back live. Whether or not that episode happens next week or the week after, that is TBD, depending on the exact specifications of my move. But I am very happy to say that we'll be back with the live feed soon.
But it'll make everything a little bit easier if you go and help Jake move. If you own a truck, just go and help Jake. Because if you own a truck, you're obligated to, by law, to help people move.
Honestly, it's not the truck that we need. We've got truck for days. What we need is muscles and people that have them. And who can
sweet, I'm out.
Pick stuff up and move. Oh, I wouldn't even fucking ask you. Never in a million years.
Finally, someone who gets it.
Plus, you'd just be standing at the end of the truck. You'd be standing at the end of the truck looking at a box and be like, hey, doesn't the way these boxes are lined up, does it kind of look like a penis? I'd be like, yes.
And I'd be going like, hey, when are you going to get some pizza?
You said that, yeah, that is true. It's always like, oh, I'm going to help you move and I'm going to, I'm going to get pizza in exchange. That's like the big thing. Pizza's not that expensive. I don't think that that's a fair trade for the amount of labor required to help somebody move. I think it should at least be Chinese food at minimum.
Okay, you said it first. So if you help Jake move, you're going to get Chinese food and pizza.
You asked me a couple weeks ago what the first place I'm going to eat in is, and I felt on the spot because we're not really restaurant people, and my answer was Chin Chin.
Yeah, double chins.
Chinese food place. So maybe that's what we'll all get. Okay, so we are casting Beetlejuice. Let's get to the business at hand here. First off, this movie's fucking great. Childhood. What's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know. What happened to you?
Influence, it's one of those things that's very informative to your youth.
Beetlejuice is an influencer to you?
Yeah. He was one of the very first. Yeah, he coined the phrase. That's why he said he was the ghost with the most. I hate you. Did you ever watch the Beetlejuice cartoon?
Sure did.
That's pretty fucking great.
Great opening. Fun cartoon. I remember watching Beetlejuice in the theater, having some semblance of an idea of what I thought it was.
Right.
But I think like most Tim Burton movies of that ilk, like you can have kind of an idea, but when you see it for the first time, and I mean several times afterwards, it's such an unusual experience. It's not a formulaic, oh, I'm going to see this, then I'm going to see that, and then this will all reside in things that are normal shapes. No. It's super bizarre and eclectic and unique. And I was all about all things Beetlejuice. So yeah, they could sell the cartoon and they could make toys, anything that I would have been all about it.
Yeah, I think it also strikes that balance of being macabre, but not quite horror. So I was into it because this is like, I was never a horror kid, but I loved fucking Beetlejuice. And it was creepy and scary in the sense that the special effects of the eyes and the mouth when they fucked with it, like that still looks so good. And that definitely fucked with me as a kid. Like that was very, very concerning. I think this is where even though we don't have a huge age gap during this era, that age gap feels pretty big. Because when this movie comes out, You're only
35 at this point.
Huge age gap, actually. I'm only 5 years old. No, 5 years old when this movie comes out. So I'm like, I don't really. This isn't in my sort of ethos for a few years. So I'm sure.
This is a video rental or on TV for you.
Yeah, right. 100%.
I'm 8 years old. This is prime real estate for me.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not a movie podcast.
This is not a movie podcast. It's a wrestling podcast. So let's talk about wrestlers who would be in it. So when we've done this, we've attempted to make ourselves like some rules or some protocols, like active wrestlers, people around right now. That's kind of been the rule, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, there are dead people in this movie. So do we cast the dead people with only dead wrestlers? Is that insensitive of us?
No, clearly that's how movies are made.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Some people look at Michael Keaton now and go, is he dead?
I think he looks great for his age. We just rewatched Birdman a couple days ago. God damn, that fucking movie's good.
That's an old movie. So
a couple
he
days
doesn't
ago,
look
I
good
mean,
for his age. That's a
months. That's a good point. Well, I mean, we have to end on Beetlejuice, right? The character.
I think so.
Like it's not like the X-Men movies where there's like you could just keep going and going and going and going and there's all these different big characters. Like I think we got to lead up to our main event here.
Yeah, I agree.
So which characters are we specifically going to? By the way, spoilers for Beetlejuice, I guess, from 40 years ago.
Fucking get off your ass and go watch Beetlejuice already.
Yeah, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think we start with the characters that we're introduced to in the film, the Maitlands.
Now remind me, because I'm bad with character names. The Maitlands, are they the ones who are buying the house?
Yeah, that's Barbara and Adam, played by Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis.
Oh no, so I'm sorry. So they're the main. Yeah, they're the first people. Not the other, not the other rest of the people who buy the house afterwards once they're
because they die.
Right. Okay. All right. So Gina Davis, that is a very specific type of person. I feel like we struggle with the women in these episodes because we just go like, we're reductive and sexist in ways that I don't appreciate about ourselves. We're like, it's a brunette woman.
Speak for yourself.
I don't have to in this instance. Okay, so do you have any ideas for this? She's not entirely like a brash person. She's a little reserved. She comes into her own.
Yeah. Things are always a little startling.
Yeah.
Like she's always taken aback. Like she plays like a real sort of everyday person, gal next door.
Right.
Because then we deal with more eccentric characters later, so it helps that she's so grounded and normal.
Right.
And in the world of wrestling, that's a little tough to just go like, hey, you know that normal 100%. Lady?
Yeah, this is why I think this is why superhero movies are easy to do this for.
Yeah, but they still got to play a character, you know? They still got to be somebody.
Yeah.
But I think it is not that hard because the person that comes to mind for me, Molly Holly.
Honestly, we should wrap the episode up because it doesn't get any better than that right now. That is a great casting. Absolutely. There's like a sweetness to her, but also she's like deep down, she is definitely a fucking badass. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. That is great.
She might have had her head shaved and she's wearing a wig. We don't know.
So now we are immediately undoing our whole dead people only for the dead characters. Unless it's at the start of the movie.
Yeah, she starts alive. Yeah, I guess if you want to have Molly Holly executed publicly, you can call the Saudi prince and say she's a journalist and work it out in your sick, demented ways.
No,
you weirdo.
No, save her from the Saudi prince. She's so sweet and cute. Okay, Gina Davis, aka Barbara, played by Molly Holly, and who stands across from her? Who is our Alec Baldwin? Who's Adam?
And normally Baldwin plays like a very strong type, like a very heroic type, but he's also he's a little nerdy. He's not very nerdy, but he's got his models.
He's reserved. He's a little bit more demure in this.
Yes. Big word of now, demure.
Is it? Yeah, I feel like I've heard that, but I have used it regularly.
And just is a little quiet and always a little befuddled, but not
okay.
He's not incapable, right?
No. But there is a level of there's a level of go with itness that he has though.
He's eager.
Yeah.
He's always wanting to do and figure out and help, and he's very sweet.
He's a sweet man. You're right.
He's always there for his wife. He's always trying to make sure that everything's okay. do everything he can. So to have that like sweetness, that's a hard thing. And in the world of wrestling to go like, yeah, but they're a prick. Yeah, but they're just ruthless. They're cutthroat.
Yeah. So we just want like a nice sweet boy, but somebody who's also a little bit eager. I mean, a couple names come to mind. One that's kind of obvious right off of the bat. Maybe it's too obvious. And obviously, the age difference is, we're just going to omit that because we're not going to try to. That's too specific.
Hey, it's Hollywood, baby.
Everybody is
We've already cast an older woman in a lead role of the movie, we've already not got our funding.
I mean, Cody Rhodes is kind of the things that you're talking about. He's eager. He's a little nerdy. He's sweet to his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't have miniatures, but at the same time, there's no way in hell we're casting Zack Ryder.
No, that's not happening.
And his toys.
There's somebody else that comes to mind.
Okay.
Amongst the Cody of it all. Someone else who I think comes across as very sweet and cares for everybody. Kofi Kingston.
Kofi's great. He is a little befuddled, especially when he goes, who?
Yeah.
Kofi's good. I think, you know what? Not for nothing, I think Kofi and Molly Holly, they would be very good across from one another. Like prime Molly Holly and prime Kofi Kingston. Let's put them both at whatever fucking age you consider prime, because I don't want to get yelled at.
When you say prime and Kofi Kingston, you talk about his chest not being separated? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about like the energy drink. It's just he's sponsoring Prime because of WWE. It's
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Prime. We have to say, when you say a wrestler, current WWE superstar's name, you have to say Prime in front of it.
It's Beetle Prime. Not Prime Juice. That would confuse
Not Prime
everyone.
Juice. No, that's very, very different stuff. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I think Kofi is a great answer. Are you writing all this down, or should I be doing this?
You should be doing this.
Okay, let me open up a notepad.
Okay, so those are
our leads.
Those are Maitlands that we get to know right away. And we go like, oh, this is sweet. Oh, and they got a nice house. And then tragedy strikes and they die right away, which is such a crazy move for a movie. They go, hey, here are the two people you're going to follow the whole time. And they're dead. Huh? I remember that being particularly jarring when watching the movie as a child
Well, not understanding. Like, wait, what do you mean? They're not really dead, right?
Is the movie over? Wait, how are we going to meet Beetlejuice if they're dead? I don't understand. So confused. So on the edge of my seat. But then we find out that I'm trying to remember because it's been a while for myself, but some time passes. I don't think we don't go to the other side right away because that's something they have to learn about with the book for the recently deceased. Exactly.
And I think it's actually when the new people move in.
The Dietzes.
Yes, the Dietzes. Catherine O'Hara as Delia. Is Jeffrey Jones the father in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charles Dietz.
Didn't we just recently lose Jeffrey Jones? Did he pass away? Or am I confusing it with somebody else?
I will look and see if that's the case.
I think he might have been. And then their daughter is Lydia. Their daughter is Winona Ryder.
Yes.
Oh, there's gonna be some fun characters in this. So I think let's do those three as the family, because there's also some extra characters here. I think those three are the.
Yes. We'll get to Otho. Don't worry.
Oh, the best. Maybe is this too short of a movie? Are we gonna have to stretch this episode?
I think there's a couple other characters we could potentially play with and do, but apparently Jeffrey Jones is still alive.
Oh, okay. I feel bad. I feel like we lost somebody recently, and I think I'm confusing Jeffrey Jones and this person. I apologize to Jeffrey Jones out there. I know you're a big fan. Please become a patron. I don't know why you've waited so long. This is not a movie podcast.
All right. So we have the three. We have Charles Dietz, Delia Dietz, and Lydia Dietz. So Charles is...
Yeah. I was going to say, let's start with Charles.
Okay. Obviously, I want to see Velveteen Dream right away. But
why?
I realize we're not
Where are you
casting
making
Jeffrey
that connection?
Jones for the Jeffrey Jones movie. We're casting Charles Dietz.
There's clearly information that I don't have.
You don't know about any...
Based on my reaction to what you're saying right now.
Oh, Jeffrey Jones has a lot of stuff with child pornography.
Oh my God! Really? Why? Well, great. Why are we highlighting? All right. Well, let's stop saying his name so much.
We're not highlighting him, so that's what I'm saying. I was making this. So it's the character of Charles Dietz that he plays.
Yes, of course.
Oh, by the way, now that you know that, it makes Ferris Bueller's Day Off a very different movie.
Oh my God! No. What about Howard the Duck?
Trying to find this one kid? What is going on?
Oh, it really changes Stuart Little. I'll tell you that much.
What? The mouse?
Yeah. Okay.
But the character that he plays,
he's an opportunist. He's kind of slimy.
Kind of slimy. He's got the eccentric artistic wife. He doesn't get it.
No.
He's obsessed with money. She's obsessed with money. They're obsessed with status. He's kind of the golf type, like wants to be in the nice clubs and
right.
You know, have the status, have the high end lifestyle.
Right.
But doesn't understand his daughter, doesn't understand his wife. Pretty fucking clueless to all kinds of things.
Right.
In the world of wrestling, I feel like we have a couple of types.
Yeah. There is one person that came to mind immediately, but I worry that because they have two images, and I worry that the one image fits, but the other one is such the antithesis.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put it out there, but I don't think it's going to be where we land on, but we can brainstorm. We can throw other names out along the way here.
That's how casting calls work. You gotta go. What about
JBL?
Oh.
But the money stockbrokery slime ball JBL in like the dad pants and the khakis and the right. There's a little bit. Now the problem is that he's also just such a tough Texan, even when he is playing that character, that there's a little bit of that disconnect. But that was the first person that came to mind as you were describing Charles.
You know, I'm gonna say this. I like the idea, and I feel like JBL does fit. But you know where he fits? To me?
Where?
In the Goulet part.
I don't know.
The dinner guests that come over later.
Right.
In another part of the movie, Robert Goulet and his wife, the actress's name I don't know, but they end up getting like done away with. But he's got like his rich hoity-toity friends, and Goulet's got that like manly presence about him, right? Rocking that mustache. And the strong jaw, and is delighted. Like JBL gets so delighted by things. Like he turns into a little boy at times with like, whoa, would you look at that? Ah, you know, because that's what happens.
You know what?
Like Beetlejuice comes up with the carnival lights around his head, and then the inflatable arms that turn into hammers, and he's so distracted and so excited by this, and then ends up dying from it. I feel like JBL could nail that.
Yeah. The character's name is Maxie Dean, by the way. Maxie Dean. But you're 100% right about that. Maxie Dean, the Robert Goulet character, because some of these names are just going to be immediately forgotten. That's good. We should revisit them when we get there, because the wife is an important part of that duo.
Yeah. Okay, I got one potential name to throw out there. For
we're still talking about for Charles.
For Charles. I got a couple of names now. But I'm gonna go with the original one that I feel like is a little clueless and wants a status and just doesn't really get anybody.
Okay.
Cole Cabana.
I get it. I see the parallels. But he doesn't seem like the sort of person who gives a shit about appearance, though, in the way that Charles does. Charles is so concerned with it. He's very waspy in that sense.
Like his clothes, his style, you mean?
Yeah. Like his whole like his desire to be. I get very country club from Charles, and while I understand the parallels for the like the desperate, maybe I'm thinking too
like
obviously.
Colt wants to be in the cool wrestling clubs.
Right.
You know,
but you know who else also does? TK. And he also wants to flaunt money, and he wants to understand art, but clearly doesn't.
There is still an element of we do have to watch these movies that we're casting these people in.
Well, we got really silly then for some of the other ones. All right, I like where your head is at. I want to see if we can't come up with anything that's better than Cabana. I wish that Cabana was. Yeah. There's a certain level of prissiness that's missing from Colt Cabana that Charles has.
Right.
See, that's the word I'm looking for. There's a little bit of that, like there's a primness to him.
Yeah, that makes sense. I totally see that. And I agree.
Oh man.
So clearly you're thinking Wheeler Yuta. Got it. The prissiest of all wrestlers. And they can certainly be inactive. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Sure, yeah, no. As long as, whatever. As long as they're not dead, right? That was where our rules were.
Yeah. And
that we made and that we
every
change
day.
immediately. Yeah, we can change whatever we want. Yeah, I'm also trying to think of people who's like, what about Ted DiBiase Sr.?
We just call him the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
I know. Well, it's only because I started saying DiBiase first, and then I realized I needed to qualify. Yeah, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
He certainly lacks the prissiness.
You're right. And that's the problem. Most wrestlers
he's a strong man through and through.
Most wrestlers do. They're wrestlers. Yeah. Hey, maybe we're not going to get any better than Cabana.
Okay. What about Chris Jericho?
We have officially gotten better than Cabana. Yeah, 100%. The amount of photos that Jericho made me take of him when I worked on that show with him, and then he looked at it and went, "Oh, but I don't like the way my neck looks." Yeah, it's 100% this dude. Yeah. Listen, Jericho was very nice. He was a delight on set, but there's a level of keeping up appearances that I have firsthand witnessed. I can sign off on this.
Okay, so we got our Charles Dietz.
I like it. Jericho, that's great. Oh, that is really good. Okay, and now he is married to Delia or Delia. I don't know how you say her name. Delia.
Yeah,
Delia
Dietz.
Delia Dietz, played by the incredible Catherine O'Hara, comedy icon Catherine O'Hara.
Wonderful character.
And
I mean, everybody's
so
great.
good.
Jeffrey Jones is problematic as he is. The art is there. It's done.
Yeah. No, of course, yes. But
it's great.
She is, meaning the character is flighty and whimsy and artsy and just she lives in a different world. This is going to be the easiest to find somebody for because this is most wrestlers, I think. Right? I have one that came to mind immediately.
Okay.
Especially across Jericho being how he is. And the first one that came to mind was Alicia Fox.
Oh.
Because she is out there and not everything she said makes sense all the time, but she's not unlikable.
I like it.
She's really like, I don't know. I feel like Alicia Fox is like, she will talk your ear off about the ugliest art piece that she bought at one point in time. That's my guess.
Yeah, that totally works for me.
Can we come up with anybody else? Should we explore?
Oof. Instinct feels like I don't want to just because I like it so much.
Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, Alicia Fox, she's just out there. I love her, but she's out there.
She's out there, and I feel like Chris Jericho being the husband and be like,
Right.
all right. Okay, yep, sure.
The two of them would actually kind of work together on screen.
But I don't think Alicia would storm the Capitol, which is a nice thing about her.
Yeah, that's
Jericho's a real wife.
Yeah, it's very kind of her.
But then they have an emo daughter.
Do we want to save her for? We can just do the family because she's probably, in my opinion, second biggest character. She's second build, in my opinion.
Very much so. But we can certainly. But we'll go Otho.
Yeah, let's go to Lydia. Let's do it.
Okay.
So their daughter, their little emo girl daughter, played by Winona Ryder, incredibly in the movie. She is a pretty typical little goth kid. She's apathetic about her family and the lifestyle, but she is excited by the lore of the house and the ghosts and all the things. So she's not the typical teenager in that she's just completely apathetic. She's apathetic towards the status lifestyle of her family. She's counterculture versus just apathy.
Everything that has great meaning to her parents doesn't mean anything to her, the status, the money. I don't think she's necessarily against the art that her mom is into and likes, but it's the price tag that's with it is what makes it 100%. Meaningless. And she is fascinated with the dead and things dark and sadness.
Yeah.
So
I mean, are we just is the obvious thing to go with a character who is a bit goth? There's plenty of wrestlers who've done a version of this character of a creepy, dark, creepy character, but most of those characters,
I feel like a Taya Valkyrie would just be really against type and be like, why are we doing this?
Right. But I will say a lot of those characters, part of their gothiness and their characters is that they're very aggressive. And she's not like a murderer, Lydia. Like she's not, there's no malice in her evil. It's a sweet evil. It's a cute evil. I have one name that comes to mind.
Okay.
AJ Lee. Shopped a lot of Hot Topic. Not quite goth. Little bit emo. Little
she's
skulls.
More poser emo, it feels like, right?
You are correct.
I mean,
she's a little she's also maybe a little bit too cunning.
As we're casting this movie, but
right, of course,
all these years later in Beetlejuice, she doesn't even change her hair. She's held on to that style her entire life.
And I will say, AJ was a very cunning character on TV, and I don't think that Lydia is very cunning in that sense.
Yes,
she's very smart though. She's whip smart, but that was the first person that came to mind.
Clearly you can go further, but I think this goes too far. I think if you cast Abaddon, you go, well, now she looks like she's on the other side.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's why, that's too aggressive. That's the monster, not the sweet girl who's interested in the monster.
She's got stuff falling out of her mouth, and you go, well, this doesn't work.
What about Alexa Bliss? She's been with a couple monsters that she's liked. The Monster Among Men, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend.
She might be with a monster right now. I don't know. Apparently Nikki Bella is, but I don't know about Alexa Bliss. I think that's a potential one.
Okay.
Another one that came to mind.
Yeah.
Certainly more aggressive, but I look at her and I go, God, you're emo. Ruby Soho.
Yeah. I think she's more metal than she is emo, personally.
Okay.
I also think she falls in that same category of being a bit too aggressive. And again, this is tough because we're dealing with fucking pro wrestlers. They're all aggressive. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Ruby is a little bit too forthright and too, she's probably really sweet as a person. You know what? I got one. Even though I was never a huge fan of her as a wrestler, I think she might work. Ember Moon, or whatever her name is now. She's a little nerdy, a little passive. Definitely a little bit goth, a little emo. She likes to play her video games, but she's got her, her werewolf attire.
Athena.
Athena is her name now.
Yeah, I think she's gone up to a high contender here. I certainly see a bit of what you're talking about.
Like she has that same that kind of the faculty of like the emo kid who was kind of counterculture. She grew up, she was probably like, she was a big wrestling fan and she liked anime and video games, which is like the modern day equivalent of in the 80s what the goth kids were, listening to Cure and like it was probably she was probably into D&D with her friends like Lydia and that kind of stuff. Like it's kind of the same space.
Right. Yeah. I'm struggling to think of somebody.
Yeah, I'm strolling through like the women's division rosters, and I'm not coming up with anybody better so far.
Yeah, but this is a big one, like you said. This is need deets. This is.
I mean, Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn is a little bit kind of gothy, but she's a little bit too into herself compared to Lydia, who is a little bit more. I know, unfortunately, word of the day. I apologize, but a little bit more demure.
Oh no! There it is again.
I use that word pretty regularly, and I didn't notice how much I used it until it started becoming a fad word. And now I'm like, fuck, do I have to stop saying that?
A double demure.
It's sort of like how you pointed out that I say earnest a lot, and it fucking drives me crazy now.
Yeah, especially Jim Varney. He's rolling around in his grave.
This is not a movie podcast.
Okay.
I'm struggling to come up with anybody better. Oh, you got one? Okay.
Is like I said, a bit of a pull. Bit of a reach, more accurately.
Okay. Gonna hurt your shoulder.
Jessamine Duke.
Jessamine Duke. Which one was that? Was that the tall blonde?
Yeah.
Isn't she like a redneck though? Like I picture her as just like a redneck.
Yeah, but Chris Jericho and Alicia Fox aren't. How anti her family is she? She became redneck.
I just know so little about her that it's tough for me. I think that's. Unfortunately for me, I can't okay it because it's unfamiliar. It's uncharted waters, unfamiliar territory. So all I know about her is that like she was one of the MMA girls,
right? And
she was kind of like a tomboy and a little bit of like a not white trash, but you know what I mean. She was like a southern, like she kind of like a cowgirl.
Like, not white trash, a piece of shit, real fuck face.
Let's just say she probably is joining her dad and storming the Capitol.
Okay,
I don't know. I think Ember's.
Reach.
I think Ember's better than her. If we're doing this like creating categories, I think Ember still, in my opinion, takes the title.
Okay, I got two more. I think that are a bit of a reach, but we'll see. And if we can't land better than Ember, then we'll stay with Ember unless we're inspired at some point.
Okay. Yeah, we can always come back if something comes down the line further.
The WWE version of Toni Storm.
That's pretty good too.
Not timeless in AEW, not that character, but the sort of punk rock.
Yeah, the tiny hat.
Tiny hat Toni Storm, as she was popularly known as.
So was that Hitman Hart and Tiny Hat Toni Storm? I can't decide, but I think they're both fair. I could make an argument that Ember is more nerdy of the two.
Yeah.
But that Toni Storm is more counterculture, emo-y, gothier at that point than Ember. So I think they're kind of a Venn diagram of what works and what doesn't. I'm sorry, not a Venn diagram, a yin-yang of what works and what doesn't work. So maybe I'll just defer to you. I think they're both equally good. I might lean a little bit Ember, but that's only because I came up with it.
Two fast ones.
Yes.
Evil Miss Elizabeth.
No.
In the NWO.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna say no to that.
Just flat out no.
Been through too much. No, I think there's too much. There's something like Miss Elizabeth had been through some shit. There's something in her eyes that you can't remove. There's she'd be that poor woman.
Feels like Lydia's almost there too, right?
Yeah,
been through some shit.
There's still an innocence with Lydia.
That's fair. The other one, doesn't feel like she's even, part of this world. Doesn't want to be a part of this world. Someone that may be from another world altogether. Outer space. Chris Statlander.
I like it. I like that you did that. I like where your head is at. I don't think it beats Tony or Ember. So what I think we do, I think we put a pin in Lydia.
Okay.
With Tony Storm and Ember Moon. And maybe once we decide who Beetlejuice is, then we can potentially use that to inspire our final call between those two ladies we're going to put them both on a veil. Okay. Like one of them is getting it and we're going to let them know not to book anything else, but one of them is going to be heartbroken.
Okie dokie.
So, all right, now now it's time to move on to Glenn Shaddix's character. What was his name again?
Otho.
Oh, Otho. All right. So Otho is the medium. Is he her brother? Is that the story, or a cousin? Isn't there a relation there?
I always thought like he was the designer, right? Like he's.
Oh, you're right. She was his like art dealer.
Yeah,
or something like that.
And like the house and just all things, like kind of a manager, kind of a catch-all, right? Like he's doing everything and involved in their lives constantly, and clearly no sexual threat to Charles Dietz, which is like, yeah, that's who my wife hangs around with all the time and pays him way too much money, and I don't know, it makes her happy. I don't have to hear about this shit.
Yeah, I just was curious, so I looked up like the plot on, and yeah, under the guidance of interior designer Otho, the family transforms the house into a new wave work of postmodern art. So yeah, he is the interior designer. He's very eccentric. He is way too involved, and also has experience with the occult, because isn't that what happens like when they realize some shit later on?
Yes.
He goes like, well, I do have some experience with the occult.
This is a shame. I was wondering what he was up to, but this actor's dead.
Oh, really? He passed away?
2010.
Dropping like flies. People getting old.
Oh, no. 2010. Wasn't that old. Born in 52.
By the way, I was just reading the plot. I love the way that they write this, which is funny. Otho conducts what he thinks is a seance to summon Adam and Barbara. But he unwittingly performed an exorcism instead. It's the way that is written is very good. All right. So do you have any quick picks for Otho?
Otho. I'm still trying to come up with one, but I feel like he's a manager type.
Yeah, for sure. There's a little bit of, no, you're right. Like there, he definitely has that vibe of somebody who like, I have an idea. Like this, he's behind the person, whispering in the ear, saying, "You should do this."
Yeah, but that's still a bit lighthearted because he's not. It's not a Heyman.
No,
not a
not
Paul
at all.
Bearer.
Nope. Despite the physical appearance,
it's not the Sinister Minister. Yeah, like the similarities physically like fit, but it's not. Oh, this might be a little on the nose, but I don't care because I love this man to death.
Okay, I have one as well, but go first.
Rico.
Was he the like? Oh God, the name sounds familiar, and I'm
Billy and Chuck's manager.
Okay, that might be better than what I came up with.
I've always loved Rico to no end, like as a human being, and also as a performer. But he did it all. Like Rico as the character of Rico.
Yeah,
he was the.
Why was he face painted like the Ultimate Warrior? Did he tag team with Warrior or Sting at some point? Or
no, there was just like one show where he started doing like some extravagant stuff because he was an eccentric guy. Like he was a stylist, and then eventually was with Billy and Chuck, and then it became a whole act.
So I like this. I think this is better than what I was going to say. What I was going to say was Stokely Hathaway, because he just kind of seems like he is the sort of person who knows a little bit about everything if you ask him.
Yeah.
And there's something about the suit and the way that, I don't know, that was first thing to mind, but I do think Rico is probably a better. And Rico along with Alicia Fox and Jericho. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to do better. Really, I thought that was going to be a lot of people in contention for that one. But Rico's kind of too good to deny.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Just in life. Rico is too good to deny.
So that's the main family.
Yeah, that's the Dietzes and everything.
Now, I mean, like, so we did Maxie Dean. We did Robert Goulet's character. Was Sylvia Sidney? Was that the other guest, the house guest? His actress,
the lady that's with him.
Yeah,
that's what I haven't been able to pin down.
Juno, would that be the character's name? Let's see. Maybe there's a character.
Juno is Juno is the older lady who's
the receptionist. Yeah.
No, not the receptionist. That's somebody else.
Oh.
Juno is when the Dietzes go in. Sorry, when the Maitlands go into the other side. She's the older woman that she's smoking, and there's the.
Yes. Yeah. I can see the picture. I just couldn't remember.
There's a receptionist that's separate that's telling them where they need to go, but she's basically their guide of do this, don't do that they go to every so often, and then they find out about Beetlejuice, and she's saying like, don't say his name. Like she's the one who sets the groundwork for the world.
All right, well let's do her then. Let's start with Juno now. Who is setting the groundwork for the world? Who's the old lady who is just going to let everybody know who's going where and what's going what? I mean, there is one very, very, very obvious one.
Okay.
That is Mae Young.
So you are going to the other side.
Well, yeah, she's on the other side. Why not?
You are casting the dead.
But there's also plenty of people now who I could think of who might fit this kind of character. I don't know why, but Alundra Blaze comes to mind. It's like the old with a cigarette, just been like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. In my day, this is how we did it.
See, when I thought that, I thought Soraya.
That's kind of funny too.
She felt like she's already lived like 3 lifetimes.
All 3 contenders.
From the look, and you don't have the smoking part, but I just feel like from look, you could go Linda McMahon.
Oh my God, she kind of does look like
the business suit, just like everything about it. It's like just she is stuck in the 80s.
Pearls. Right.
But yeah, it's a very I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it all.
I kind of want to go other side. I kind of want to Mae Young it, to be honest with you. The reality, actually, it might actually be more what's her face, the other one, Fabulous Moolah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because May's gonna call
bit more
like a
aggressive.
little slut.
Yeah, she's May.
She always wants to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with Moolah. Other than I think it'd be really hard to do. You're talking. Yeah. What you're doing is like we're casting a movie in the 80s, but you already want to do like the Star Wars shit where you're going, look, I know they're dead.
Yeah, we're gonna get their estate's gonna sign off. We're just gonna
give you $12 and we're gonna use them in whatever way we want.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with anybody else who's
just
like everybody else. I could, I feel like all of the old female wrestlers. When we've seen them, they're all kind of sweet. They all like have like a sweetness about them. I think that's why Alundra came to mind, because she never seem sweet ever to me in any of the like table for threes and shit like that in the Hall of Fame speeches.
Oh, having met her, she's nothing but.
Yeah.
Which took me aback because I thought I just put on the tougher facade.
Right.
Mercedes Martinez.
Sadie's. Oh, Mercedes. I'm sorry. You cut out the first word there. I was like, who the fuck is Sadie's?
Sadie.
Mercedes Martinez is pretty good too. She's real. That's a bit aggressive. That's more aggressive.
I mean, I think there's potential for this.
I got one.
Years from now.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You go
Just
first.
after living with Moxley for your entire life, like, Renee Young at the end
Sure.
possibly works. Right now, doesn't work.
I got one.
Okay.
Kong. Awesome Kong.
She doesn't speak.
Well, she will in this.
No, like way too.
No, you're not as excited by that. Okay, I thought she had like
scary.
the presence. Okay, all right.
I'd sooner go with Kong as like the beauty contestant that's cut in half and is in the waiting room.
Sure.
And then like smacks Beetlejuice when he touches her leg.
Okay, all right. So right now, I don't think we've gotten anything better than Moolah, personally.
Yeah. Okay. Soraya, I did like it. I was being fairly legit about it. But if you're not feeling
no,
it,
you know what? Fuck it. No, I like that.
we're casting the living.
I like that. Why not? Yeah, we'll stick to which means for the rest of this, we're all going living for the rest of this.
Or I got one more.
Unless
I got
Rico's
one
also
more.
dead.
But the character is sweeter than this because she is looking out for them. She's not.
I've already typed Saray. So you get in there quick because I'm about to type the last.
I'm just prefacing it. The character of Juno is nice. She's trying to help them.
Right.
But Tammy Sitch.
That's a tough one to separate.
Yep, that's fine. Soraya it is.
Soraya it is. Alrighty. So let's see. I'm going to scroll through this cast list here. All right, look at that. We're almost at an hour anyway. We probably could. Who are some of these other characters?
Dick Cavett is one of the other dinner guests.
Is he a dinner guest? Right. Bernard is his name.
Yeah. The whole. I can't figure out who the little lady is with Otho because that whole dinner sequence of the shrimp and then Harry Belafonte's song and everybody dancing. So there's a lady with Dick Cavett, which I believe is played.
Is that Susan Kellerman? Plays Grace, maybe?
I was thinking it's Marie Cheatham.
Grace is the woman. Oh, no, wait. Which one is Grace here? Come on, IMDb. Do better. God dang it. Grace is the woman with like the big the blonde hair and like the satin or the like shiny dress. Who she turns like bright red. Yeah, that's not enough information.
So I found out the lady who's with Goulet.
I wish I could share my screen. Okay, who's the Goulet wife?
This
dinner party might be
Marie Cheatham.
Okay, let's see. Marie Cheatham.
Yeah, that's Maxie Dean and Sarah Dean. That's that couple.
How has that not been a wrestler's name? Cheatham, their last name.
Well, because then you get what? You get fucking Dewey Foley in there as well, and then
Sarah Dean.
You got to get a Howe, so you get Dewey Cheatham and Howe.
Right. Okay. So Marie Cheatham, Sarah Dean.
So they're together.
Yeah, I don't remember much of her character in the movie though, like what she did, what she was like.
Also, just kind of like it's the rich, clueless. Oh, this is great status. I love your status. We have great status. And then, oh, how fun. You have this thing happening. And then they both die.
Great.
So it's kind of just like, who would you pair with a JBL?
Right.
Tori Wilson.
Done. Sold.
Feel bad for Tori Wilson. I guess JBL will be happy. We can pay him less.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
So then it's.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. No, we'll stick with Tori Wilson. I don't know why I'm overthinking it.
So if you see the moments from the dinner table, Cavett is there, and I can't remember if she's with Otho, with him, but there's a very eccentric. I mean, she kind of looks like AJ Lee. This really thin, Yeah, she's sitting with Otho. She kind of looks like Shelley Duvall, like dark hair.
Okay.
But I don't know her name, and she's, I think, just in this one scene.
Beryl.
With like
the character's name is Beryl. Beryl.
Oh. See, it's fun doing this because then you go, oh, I never knew their names before.
She's got a great, she has that great line when Otho says like, I was one of New York City's leading paranormal researchers until the bottom dropped out in 1972. And Beryl says, paranormal, is that what they're calling your kind these days?
See, I feel like that could be AJ Lee.
Very snarky, very sarcastic, very cynical.
Yeah, if she's lived with CM Punk this long and she didn't have those chops previously, like there's no way she doesn't have them.
All right, Beryl is AJ Lee. All right, you sold it. Well sold, sir.
We can skip Cabot and the other lady, I feel like. And
Yeah, that's fine.
Beetlejuice, because otherwise I'd also want to cast the janitor.
Right, of course. Yeah, the messenger. The old guy. The guy from Carmen Flippy, the guy from what's that movie
Pee-wee's
called?
Big Adventure.
No. The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, he's worked a lot, so he's also in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, I wasn't saying no to him not being in that, but no, that's not the movie I was thinking of in that moment.
Well,
not everything is about you, okay? All right. I mean, I don't know. I think we've kind of our main event here. I think it's time to decide who's playing Beetlejuice.
A character that...
Oh, wait, hang on a second. Wait, one more. I'm sorry. I just noticed that there was a character called Dumb Football Player and Very Dumb Football Player. So I think we've got, for Dumb Football Player, I think we've got Mojo Rawley. For Very Dumb Football Player, we've got Pat McAfee.
I was going to say Titus O'Neil.
Oh, yeah, Titus O'Neil. Perfect. We'll just typecast those guys. So only actual football players are the football players in the movie. Great. All right, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Not spelt the way you think it is.
Beetlejuice. Screen time of 17 and a half minutes.
Incredible.
Title character.
Incredible. Worth every penny. Worth every penny and earned every penny, by the way.
All you think about that movie is Beetlejuice. Leaves a crazy mark on the whole thing. An unusual character choice, to say the least. So bizarre in every way, but wonderful.
So good. Okay.
Vladimir Kozlov.
Big, bombastic, crazy voice. I mean, honestly, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Vladimir Kozlov. Okay, so Beetlejuice is charismatic but off-putting.
Totally inappropriate.
Totally inappropriate.
Handsy.
He's very handsy, but he's also like a huge showman. Huge showman. Loves the macabre, but loves center of attention. He's a trickster.
Yep.
He likes playing tricks.
He likes the ladies.
He does love the ladies. I do okay with the ladies.
I mean, I got mine.
I'm struggling. I have somebody in mind as well, but it's like people are gonna be like, really? That person? But it was just because it was the first thing that came to mind. I haven't been able to get rid of it since.
As we've been talking about the characteristics of Beetlejuice, I go, oh my God, this person's a real life Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's why I like doing that. That's why I like going through it all. All right.
Ric Flair is a real life Beetlejuice.
Oh my God. And if you say his name 3 times, horrible things happen.
Yeah, you hear a woo and then you see a helicopter.
Oh, Scott Narver, I was hoping to draw this out a little bit and come up with some other people, but I don't think we're going to come up with anybody better than Ric Flair. Fuck, Ric Flair is so good. He's better than anybody I could possibly think of.
The Nature Beetle. I mean, if Matt Bourne was still alive, I'd say Doink the Clown, but, you know.
Fuck, Ric Flair. I mean, yeah. If we weren't going, if we were only going like active, I mean, whatever. Nobody retires in wrestling. He's wrestled like 13 days ago.
I mean, I don't think we could get him because Sting still owns him, I believe.
Right, he was given to him as a gift by TK. Dude, I don't know. I think that we are just going. It's only going to be downhill from there, bud. Now, I think because it's Ric Flair, there's something kind of funny to me about the pairing of both Ember and Tony, but there's something more funny about Ember because she seems like she would hate him so much that I have to lean towards Tony, who I think would be more inclined to actually enjoy his presence.
Oh, for the Lydia role, right?
Yes, for Lydia, right.
That she would tolerate him up to a point, and then till the end, and it goes too far.
Yeah,
yeah, I can see that.
I think Tony might have beat out Ember. God, it's so hard for a black woman to get roles in Hollywood these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tony Storm might beat out Ember.
We'll make Ember the receptionist.
No.
Why not? That's a role. That's a speaking role.
Sure.
Man, it's so hard for them to get roles. Hey, how about this?
Well,
no. I know not everything's about me, but it's about Ember Moon.
It's a pity role. Okay, there you have it,
no,
ladies and gentlemen.
It's a speaking role of a lady in the movie. Also, yes. Hey, everybody, look, I do nice things. We'll put Danhausen in the movie somewhere, okay?
Maybe Danhauser's the messenger. He's the old man.
He can be, he could be the one marrying them.
Oh, right. Yeah. The preacher.
Yeah. Danhausen can be the preacher.
Wait a minute. Why is the... Hang on a second. I'm so confused by...
Oh, you know what? Better yet, Danhausen could be the sandworm. How about that?
Oh my God. I didn't... It's because he was in... Okay. Do you know Tony Cox, the little person?
Yeah.
He's in...
That's how tall he was then, and then he shrunk after being in that suit.
No, he's credited in the movie as the preacher.
Yeah.
Because he's in the mask with the little like skull head. He's the little skull head demon preacher character. And I was very thrown by that because I was like, I don't remember him in the movie. Anyways, I
changed what I was saying. Danhausen is not the preacher. Danhausen is the sandworm.
Love it.
I think that's a much better fit for him.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Beetlejuice starring Ric Flair. With Molly Holly, Kofi Kingston, Jericho, Alicia Fox, Tony Storm, Rico, Soraya, with special appearances by JBL, Tori Wilson, and AJ Lee.
I expect great things from this thumbnail.
Fuck, I don't have time for this shit. I'm trying to move, but I've just done 7,000 different thumbnails. But I will try my best. It might just be like one or two. It might just be Beetlejuice and Lydia. Okay. But I will try. I'm promising to try. I'm not promising it'll be any good. You saw how lazy the X-Men was a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
I even wrote in the bubble how lazy it was. Listen, Daddy's tough on time, and this job doesn't pay a lot. There you have it. I think we did great. We don't have any hotline calls to take today, but I do want to throw once again.
I assume we'll get some after this episode drops.
Yeah, to the listeners, I want to give us your Beetlejuice casting calls. Obviously, drop them in the Discord if you want, but always, please don't hesitate to call 747-666-5606. That's 747-666-5606, or send a voice memo on your phone or any sort of voice recording at all to hotline@pwpalskis.com. That's hotline@pwpalskis.com. We will play them right here on the show. And of course, join that Discord completely free, unrelated to the Patreon, but also become a patron. Please become a patron. It helps us keep the show going. You can get a whole lot for very, 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 very little. There are a ton of bonus features and episodes and all sorts of fantastic stuff there on the Patreon. And you get access to all of that, plus access to the live streams, and certain eligible patrons get access to the monthly Championship Palski Battle Royal. So please consider becoming a patron right now. Do it right now. head on over to patreon.com/PW Palskis. Scott and Narver, I think it's time to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
It is. And before I do that, I have to give ourselves a little quick pat on the back. You know why?
Okay.
Give yourself one.
I'm doing it.
For this casting call, we didn't cast CM Punk.
Wow. First time ever?
It feels like we do it a lot.
Yeah, no. And I Sami Zayn, by the way.
Yeah. That there are just favorites. We go, well, they could be. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
CM Punk could be Homer Simpson. Who gives a shit?
Honestly, Sami Zayn also would have been good for Charles Dietz.
So thank you to all of our Patreon Palskis. This is the only show that hands out retribution names as well as maximum male model names. Why?
Tamina.
Because you can say these 3 times over and no danger comes. So thank you to Alex Pierce, a.k.a. Figs, a.k.a. Zitoys, Andrea Beeler, a.k.a. Pollen Hate, a.k.a. Achu Detest, Curtis Mason, a.k.a. Hurtis, a.k.a. Auche, Gilbert Short, a.k.a. Goliathon, a.k.a. Batal Under Ruse, Mass Llama, a.k.a. Spitz, a.k.a. Jacara Lover, Michael Beltran, a.k.a. Limestone, a.k.a. La Naturel, Mike Lucas, a.k.a. Hackensack, a.k.a. Luger Testicle, a.k.a. the current PWP champ, Miguel Diaz, a.k.a. Bipod, a.k.a. Too Much Husk, Suicide, aka Je ne sais who, Tim Redbeard, aka Blood Fuzz, aka Blue Diffuse, Tom Hader, aka Cupid, aka Cherub, and Tony Griggs, aka Big Griggs, aka Grand Grisois.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of this program. That'll do it for the pod this week. You know all the different stuff. Leave us ratings and reviews. Check out the shop, find us on the socials, all of the things. Hey, Scott, if I make the episode art, the casting, then people won't have to listen to the episode. They're just going to know what we came up with.
Oh, my God.
It kind of ruins the episode by doing the art.
Or
I'll put a question mark over Beetlejuice's face.
Oh.
And then everybody else will have. That's like real clickbait shit. Oh,
nice.
That's good.
Ooh,
that's like some real clickbait shit.
There you go.
And but I am gonna put a word bubble, and he's just gonna be saying "woo."
Or you take a picture of Ric Flair and you put Beetlejuice's face on it, and then say like, "Who do we cast?" No, it's terrible. Don't do that.
All right. Do you want to know what Ric Flair would have to say in this in regards to our Patreon additional names? You'd have to say, nice fucking maximum male models.
Mm-hmm. And he would say, right, we come for your daughter, Chuck. And they go, that was great. That was perfect. He goes, yeah, I just improvised something. Go, no, that's in the script. Oh, is it?
I was talking to the sound guy, Chuck. I saw a picture of his daughter.
Yeah, I came for her.
Alrighty, kids. Thanks so much. This is Not a Movie Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis. Bye forever.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100+ pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.